Welcome back to yet another episode of Sutton Reactions. I'm your host, Sutton Def, and this is a show, again, where we talk about any and everything that we want to react to, things going on in the world, and let me tell you this. We got a jam-packed episode today. We got a juicy-ass episode today. It's filled with thought-provoking stuff. It's filled with messy stuff. It's filled with new news, breaking news, right? All sorts of stuff. It's going to be a very, very good episode of the show. As I'm always live, right? So just let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I would appreciate that. You guys know sometimes the audio issues are rearing their ugly heads. So if you guys can hear me okay and you're watching live, make sure you comment down below or leave it in the chat down below. Now, if you're part of the hashtag replay gang and you're watching this, appreciate you for coming through. Make sure you leave a like on this video. First and foremost, subscribe to the channel as well. Again, my name is Sutton Duff. I do realize some of you guys are watching through the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, which this specific show, Sutton Reactions, will no longer be on the PRP channel here soon. So if you do want to continue to watch Sutton Reactions, you have to follow the actual Sutton Reactions YouTube channel, which if you just go on YouTube and type in Sutton Reactions, like you see it right down there, excuse me, you'll find it. But I'm going to put the link in the description too. I'm going to put the link in the description as well. So look out for that if you're part of the hashtag replay gang. Let me see. We got the live chat in here in full effect. Listen, here's another thing. For everybody who watches live, I know I'm late, right? I normally go live in the morning times, but I had a very rough morning today. Well, not even so much rough, just busy. I had some running around to do. And as you guys know, I'm still a little bit under the weather. I'm still a little bit sick. So also bear with me with my voice. And, if I have to mute my mic for anything to sneeze, sniffle, all that stuff, you just know that's why. Just know that is why. I'm still a little bit sick. I'm getting over it, though. I'm getting over it. So that's good. But I got to give a shout out to everybody who's here in the live chat. What's going on, y'all? Prod is in here. What's going on, Prod? I just hit you back on Twitter about an hour ago. Appreciate you for reaching out. Shelly, another one of our members. We got 2 members in here already. Says, hi, Sutton. Hope you're feeling better. I'm getting there, Shelly. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. K-Lot, what's going on, K-Lot? I see you. Keto in the building. Void, another one of our members. Shout out to you, Void. Zeke Hokage in the house. That Sutton was good and everyone. What's going on, Zeke? Yeah, like I said, a jam-packed episode today. A jam-packed episode. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say this. Let's get into some reactions, right? Let's get into some juicy stuff, right? And by the way, I want to clear the air on some of the things that I said yesterday on the Purple Rain podcast. And I'm not going to do that right now because I will also be live 2 more times today. Count them, 2 more times today. I'm going to do Quiet Storm Sports pretty much right after this, maybe like an hour after this wraps up. And then, of course, later on, I'll be on Coach Sip to Tally Films channel for the Ravens Roundup, which we do every single Tuesday. But I want to clear the air on something that I said yesterday on PRP. If you haven't checked out that episode, maybe check that out later. But yeah, I'll definitely do that too. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into some reactions. Okay. So like I said, a jam-packed episode today on this episode. What is it? 11. Episode 11 of Sutton Reactions. This is going to be a good one. What I want to start with is some news that dropped when I was out running my errands earlier, right? I saw the news that the new Avengers trailer dropped. And let me tell you something. I was spot on in my analysis. Last week when I said that they're going to release these trailers one by one, character by character, kind of letting you know, okay, who exactly is going to be in this movie. Last week, it was Captain America. This week, it is Thor. So let me go ahead and bring this up on screen for you guys here, share my screen with you guys. As you know, I cannot play the trailer in full screen, 1080p. I have to play it through here or else copyright will definitely strike me down. So let's see.
Father, all my life, I have answered every call to honor, duty, to war. But now fate has given me something I never sought. A child. A life untouched by the storm. me the strength of the old fathers, so that I may fight once more, defeat one more enemy, and return home to her.
This is gonna be fire.
Not as a warrior,
This is gonna be fire.
but as warmth.
Let me tell you one thing.
To teach her not battle, but stillness.
Well, it's almost
The kind I never knew. Please, Father, heed my words.
there we go. Thor will return in Avengers Doomsday. So I mean, and let me tell you this. I'm not the biggest like comic book stan, right? So like I don't know all the ins and outs of like what's going on in the Marvel universe, even the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Hey Heather, hey Ashley. Appreciate y'all for coming through. But I'll tell you one thing. The fact that Captain America is coming back and would look like a Sky Rizzy commercial last week, go back and watch it. It's actually pretty hilarious. But the fact that Captain America is on his way back and Thor is on his way back. And the thing about Thor that I love about this trailer, look at this. This part right here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? This part right in here. Where you see Thor with his daughter. If that doesn't tell you right then and there, this man is going to have all the motivation in the world to absolutely turn the F up in this movie. And I can't wait personally. I think they are slowly but surely setting the stage for one of the most epic superhero films we've seen of all time. And it says here it's going to come out December 18th, 2026. It's actually 2 days before my birthday. That's going to be amazing. Right around Christmas time. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I wish it didn't have to be that long. I wish maybe it was going to come out during like the summer months or something like that. You know, beginning of summer. That'd have been awesome too. But hey, take your time, Marvel. Take your time. Do what you need to do. Make sure you give us a great movie. Because you guys have been kind of slacking. You guys have been slacking for a long time now, Marvel. Ever since Endgame, pretty much, every movie has been hit or miss. Void says in the chat, talking about, they said Steve Rogers, not Captain America, so keep that in mind. Well, that's true. But I also saw, if I'm not mistaken, I saw Steve Rogers picking up the Captain America, you know, the breastplate or the torso thing, his suit. So I would assume at some point he's gonna put that on in the movie. I think that was pretty clear foreshadowing. You know, I don't know how the what's his name, the new Captain America, you know, the one played by Anthony Mackie. I don't know how he's going to be incorporated into all of this. However, either way, it's dope. Either way, it's dope. And then with this scene in the trailer where he's like preaching to the heavens.
I never knew. Please, Father, heed my words.
It's giving like Game of Thrones. Like the writing, it feels like the stakes are going to be very, very high in this movie. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. Zeke says, I can't wait for them to restart X-Men. Yes, I also agree with that. I typically love whatever the first installment of an X-Men reboot is. You know, the ones from the 2000s. Love that one. I loved X-Men First Class. What was the last one? The only I really never got into the Logan movies. Might be a little bit of a hot take there. I think I watched like half of the first one. Thought it was good, you know, but I don't know. I just it wasn't really for me. I kind of stopped watching it. The Deadpool versus Wolverine movie, that one was good, not great. I think it was more so for show than like storytelling or anything like that. But the point is, Marvel movies have been kind of hit or miss for the last half decade. And I think that they're really, really trying to get back in the good graces and recreate this kind of monocultural moment where literally everybody has to go see this movie. Everyone has to go see it. I think that's exactly what they're creating here. It's literally the perfect storm. Do you guys remember back in, what was it? I think 2012. I think it was back in 2012. The first Avengers movie came out. And I remember when that movie came out, it was literally like you could not get a ticket for that movie for days. Like it was one of those. I have not been to a movie theater in the past 10 years where I couldn't just walk right up to the box office and buy a ticket right there on the spot for any movie. I can't really remember any movie that I've wanted to go see being sold out. I remember me and my family went to go see Avengers in 2012. We just drove up to the movie theater, right? Thinking it was sweet. We got up there. They're like, oh, yeah, no, the tickets are sold out for the next 48 hours. Try again in 2 days to come see this movie. And we went on like a Wednesday. Again, it created a monocultural moment, basically meaning where everybody comes together. No matter what your main interests are, if you're not really that into Marvel comics, or you're not really that into superhero movies, not even really that into action movies, but no, you have to go see this movie because you know it's just that big of a moment, and somebody close to you is probably going to drag you to the movie theater to go see it with them. That's the type of moment that it feels like they're going to create with this Avengers Doomsday. And just you wait until they drop that trailer for Robert Downey Jr. I'm telling you, it'll probably be the last one that they do. I don't know how many more characters they're going to kind of tease in this one, but I'm telling you, when that one drops, that's going to be the one. That is going to be the one. That first Avengers movie was elite. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Let me see. Shelly says, true, Sutton. Also, you noticed that Steve Rogers had a baby too in his teaser. So it's saying stakes are higher this go around. They all got something personal to live and die for. Shelly, you just hit the nail on the head. And I forgot about that one in the first trailer where he had the baby. That's totally true. But yeah, I mean, it's just wow. I can't wait because it has felt like the stakes haven't been that high in a lot of these Marvel movies. Like I remember I went to go see the last Ant-Man movie. I think it was Ant-Man Quantumania. And when I tell you, it wasn't a terrible movie, but I think I can safely say it was about as mediocre gets. And the reason why is because I never really felt fear in that movie. I never really felt like, okay, well, I never really felt like compelled for the protagonist to succeed, or I never really felt like the antagonist was as sinister or as threatening as they might have should have been. You know what I mean? It was like one of those things where I just really couldn't get into it because I just didn't care. They didn't make me care enough. But here in this movie, even with these trailers, they're already pulling at the heartstrings. You putting kids? We got kids involved now. This is gonna be amazing. Gonna be amazing. I can't wait. So my guy Coach, what's going on, Coach? Sip 2 Tally Films in the house. Like I said, I'll be live with him and the guys later on today. Asmodeus to you. He's in the chat. What's going on, Asmodeus? Says I'm not a fan of Marvel movies recently. Yeah, like I was just saying, man, about the last half decade has been mid, pretty much straight mid. Again, I did like Captain America: Brave New World. So if you have not seen that movie, check it out. Just my personal opinion. I thought that movie was fire. Okay. Let me see. Shelly giving a shout out to Coach. Coach was on the vault today. Says, Coach, you did great on the vault. So happy to see you on there again. Shout out to Coach, man. He's all over in these YouTube streets in the Ravens community. Truly a pillar. Truly one of our pillars here in the Ravens community. And shout out to the entire Rain gang watching from the Ravens community as well. I'm mainly a Baltimore Ravens podcaster, in case you didn't know. In case you're just finding out about this show and you don't think I talk about sports, I talk about sports pretty much every day. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you subscribe to the Purple Rain podcast YouTube channel. And then all of our guys in the YouTube community. Coach, Sip 2 Tally Films, Engraven Videos, Charm City Sideline, Lunch Break Hot Take, Flock Rundown, Deep Cover Podcast. Who am I missing? There's so many. And I know I'm missing a couple. The WonderCon Show. Shout out to Nitro. I like to go through them all. But I love all those guys. Love them. Okay. But that was the Avengers trailer. Just wanted to talk about that, kind of get our beaks wet on this episode, right? Because we're going to get into some really good stuff in this one. Next, I want to talk about Stefon Diggs yet. We're not going to get messy just yet. Not yet. I want to talk about this Dwight Howard tweet. Did you guys see this? Did you guys see this tweet from Dwight Howard where he says he wants President Trump to make 1 year of military service mandatory for everyone? Here's what it says verbatim. Dwight Howard tweeted from his X account. He said, "Random, but I honestly feel like the president should make 1 year of service mandatory for everyone born in America. A lot of other countries do it, and I think it would help with discipline and structure. I'm curious what y'all would think. Do you think it would help America or nah?" And I want you guys' takes and I want you guys' opinion on this. Somebody in the comments said, "I'll serve crack before I serve this country." That is hilarious. That is hilarious. But no, I want you guys' takes. I want you guys' opinion on this. Because when I first saw it, I was thinking to myself, like, I mean, it really doesn't sound like a bad idea. It really doesn't sound like a bad idea, if I'm being honest with you. From the standpoint of, or from the argument of, you know, if kids grew up, went to high school, and as soon as you're done with high school, it's just mandatory. It's mandated that you just got to do 1 year of military service. Knowing what military training, right, does to you, I think it could honestly do a lot of good for a lot of these kids. Because what happens with a lot of kids is they leave high school and they are lost. There is no structure after high school, especially nowadays, where going to college just isn't the end all be all for a lot of kids. It used to be like, yeah, after high school, you're gonna go to college. Like most parents would push college on their kids, and if they didn't, they'd push some sort of trade, something like that. But mainly the thing was college or military. But some kids are indecisive. I know I was. I ended up going to college, but I was very indecisive for a while as I was getting ready to graduate high school. And I just think that since a lot of kids feel that way, a lot of kids don't know what they want to do in life. A lot of kids are lost by the time they turn 18, and a lot of kids are brain rotted more than a lot of us watching are, because a lot of us watching right now are older, probably age, again, 25 through 45, somewhere around that area, which, trust me, I know is not all the same generation. But I'm talking for like the kids who are still in high school right now. All they know, all they live and breathe is TikTok, Instagram, social media as a whole, video games, right? Clout, and brain rot. It's even worse nowadays, again, with cell phones, TikToks, and stuff like that. Sip to Tyler says 48, sir. All right, well, I'll bump it up to 50 then. I bump it up to 50. But yeah, all of this is brain rot nowadays. And I feel like that contributes to a lot of kids not knowing what they want to do and just kind of showing up lost after high school. You don't know how many kids that I know who literally just have no plan. No plan, and not even just no plan, but like no goals, aspirations, nothing. I do think that 1 year of military service would be a kick in the ass for a lot of kids. It would straighten a lot of kids out, right? It would instill in their brains discipline, core values, things like that, respect. Some kids don't have that. Some kids don't grow up with that. And I think that it could be used as like a machine to, like, for lack of a better word, spit out more contributing human beings. Now, the logistics of it all, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you would work that all out with, taxes and things like that. I'm not really sure. And I'm sure there would have to be many more military bases built. Many more military bases built and a lot more money being pumped into the military, which is already a fuck ton. And the other problem that I kind of have with it, while I'm saying that it would be like a net positive idea, I think that just like most other mandatory things in this country that you just have to do, like taxes, for example, wildly rich people would find a way around it. They'd be able to buy their way out of it. That would be my only other concern, is that this sort of mandate would only affect the middle and lower class. which I think will be bullshit. So while I think it's a net positive to have something like that, just to provide, like Dwight is saying in this tweet, some structure. I think where he's coming from is a good place. I think he's coming from a good place. But at the same time, man, it does come off a little bit tone deaf because of how the 1% of this country, they wouldn't go for it. They would think that they're above it. And again, they would buy their way out of it. They would buy their way out of it every single time. Let me see what you guys are saying here in the chat. Again, let me know what you think down below in the comments. If you're not watching this episode of Sutton Reactions live, comment down below. Do you think that 1 year of mandated military service would help or harm America? And honestly, the effects of this you wouldn't really see until maybe 2 generations from now, right? It would take a while, and there'd be some growing pains with it. I do think it would be a net positive, but again, everybody has to participate, no exceptions. If you call yourself an American citizen, you would have to do it. And it's only 1 year. And after that 1 year, you're free to do what you want. You can go to college, all that stuff. And as I'm talking through it, one more issue is that people would argue this down. They would argue it down. And I would mainly assume it would be probably the left who would argue it down, and they would argue that it's stripping, Americans of their freedom, and it flies in the face of the Constitution and all things like that. And maybe even some people from the right as well would disagree with it. But I think the overwhelming majority on the left-hand side of the aisle would be like, absolutely not. I'm more nuanced on these type of ideas. Like I don't really lean one way or another. Actually, I do tend to lean left. But ideas like this are interesting to me because of how I feel like it could impact society, again, 2-3 generations from now. But again, let me see what you guys are saying here in the chat. Let me see. Asmodeus says, does that mean they'd actually allow me to get in? I tried to enlist when I was in high school, but I was rejected due to asthma. That's another thing. Again, the logistics of it all, I don't exactly know how they would do it. I'm sure they would. Yeah, if it was mandated like that, I'm sure there would be more laxed, physical training and things like that. Like the part of it that's so physically demanding for people who have, different ailments or issues that they deal with bodily wise is, I think that they would probably not stress that enough. They wouldn't stress it enough for it to like really, I guess you could say do anything to, or maybe no physical activity at all. Maybe it's just all mental stuff that they have you do. A lot of military training, a lot of what it is, it's very mental, very mentally taxing. And I've never been in the military myself, but literally my entire half of my family is military, all branches. And I've worked around a bunch of military people as well. And they all kind of act the same. They all kind of act similar. No cap, I've considered immigrating to South Korea to raise a family there for that reason. Interesting. Void says discipline starts in the house. How about mandatory parenting classes? That's not a bad idea either. I do think that also, because I like this idea better, Void. I like your idea better. I do. And the reason being is because if you have mandatory parenting classes that teach discipline and respect and core values and things like that, you can take what you learn from those classes as a parent. You can take what you learn from those classes and then go put your own style on it while still keeping kind of like the core values. Okay, this is what children need, right? This is how you should X, Y, Z, You can put your own spin on it. If you send a 17 or 18-year-old to the military, you don't know what type of propaganda will be pushed on them while they're in there. That's another thing. So for that reason, I do like Void's idea better. The problem is most parents, again, probably wouldn't take too kindly to being said, okay, you got to go to mandatory school now. No, you've been out of school for X amount of years, but go back to school, learn this curriculum on how to parent and things like that, which a lot of people would take natural offense to, and rightfully so. especially coming from the good old government. Again, people just don't trust the government. Hell, I don't trust the government, but it's definitely an idea. It's definitely an idea. Let me see. Kogan says, knowing Taco Trump, he would instill a way for kids with the means to buy their way out. And just like the draft, it would only affect the lower income households. And that's the issue. This administration that we're currently underneath would not be the administration to put something like this together that Dwight Howard's saying. It is not the one. It's not the one at all. So I agree. I agree. What else we got? Oh, we got Asmodeus in the chat, says, open up the lines. I'd like to discuss this in detail. You know what? I don't have the lines open in this studio, man. I don't have the lines open in this studio. However, I should go ahead and make a separate studio for Sutton Reactions where you guys can call in and give your opinions in real time. That would be dope. You might just give me an idea, Asmodeus. I can't do it right now, brother. I can't do it right now. But no, I would love to chop it up with you about that. So maybe next week I'll look into, new year. We're going to be taking off with the Sudden Reactions thing. It's going to get so much better, guys. I know it's kind of like very basic right now, but this is something that I definitely want to get into. I definitely want to get into opening up the lines and we can talk live. Thank you so much, Asmodeus, for your super chat donation, brother. I appreciate you as always, as always. It's all about money at the end of the day. Absolutely. Shelly Shell says someone replied to his comment saying more people need to work in retail or customer service center jobs. That would teach empathy more. That could be impactful. Dwight dismissed it, which I also do concur with. However, I think that the problem with working retail, because I've worked in retail, I've worked in food service and things like that. Yeah, it can teach you empathy, but a lot of those jobs are really just like soul sucking. And if anything, a lot of the customers aren't empathetic to the workers. I think that might have a little bit of a reverse effect. It might end up making people more jaded, So I don't know about that one. I don't know if I agree. I feel like there might be a better way. Customer service center job. People treat customer service reps like trash, man. They do. Not even for good reason either. Not even for good reason. Like I used to work at a Best Buy, and I was a sales consultant or whatever, and people would come in. Some people would come in and literally like not even want to talk to me, interact with me, anything like that. They would just like shove a phone or a advertisement that they saw in my face and say, take me to this or go get this from you. You know what I mean? Like just not even treating me like a real human being some days. And some of those days I was having really bad days and people would come in and treat me like that. And I knew it wasn't necessarily for like a greater cause or anything like that. It shit just hurt sometimes. Quite frankly. So I don't know. I don't know about that one. Taurus, what's going on, Taurus? Says, Sutton, what you mean the other day when you said Lamar needs to take note? I'm going to talk about that later on Quiet Storm. Let me see. Void says, I guarantee you if they instill this, nearly everyone arguing against it would have spontaneous mental health issues. Now, that's something right there, because they would probably have some sort of loophole to where if you're mentally ill, you don't have to do it, things like that. So yeah, you're probably right. How many young adults would randomly get pregnant just to get out of this 1 year? Oof. You speaking now. Not a terrible idea, but many people try their hardest to avoid it. Random mental health issues, pregnancy just to escape, going AWOL, fleeing the country, etc. Fleeing would cause more issues. That's true. That's why I say retail workers become the Grinch. I hate Christmas for that reason. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine Black Fridays working at a Best Buy? It is crazy what people will do for a 75-inch TV, right? or I was actually working there. It wasn't too long ago. It was when did the PS5 drop? What year was that? Because I was there during that time. And when I tell you, man, people would come in and be like, I need a PS5. And I'd be like, we don't have it. And they'd basically tell me, like, fuck you to my face. You know what I'm saying? Like, just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. But I'm not jaded, though. I still have empathy. Parents raised me right. Parents raised me right. So I responded to you on Twitter. Sutton says, prod. All right, I'll get to that after this show. Appreciate you, brother. Coach says, imagine Walmart on Black Friday. That was me. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's crazy. Tori says, I hated retail. Hated it. Hated it, man. Now, this I really love. Daryl says, and shout out to Daryl, says, bring trades back into the schools. I totally agree with that. I think that that's kind of like, honestly, the happy medium between what Dwight Howard is saying here and everything else that we talked about. If you put the trades back in the schools and you give these kids, each kid, a skill, a profitable skill that can never be taken away from them, you know, like electrical instruction, HVAC, plumbing, carpentry. I actually went to high school for carpentry. Fun fact, I know carpentry because my high school had trades, had a whole trade program. And for 3.5 years, I learned carpentry underneath a master carpenter. That's important. That is super important. So I agree with you, Daryl. Totally agree. Tori says plumber here. Hey, yes, sir. Working with them hands. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. And Mike agrees. Mike, another one of our members, shout out to Mike, says get more kids doing trades, apprenticeships in school, work study, dual credit, and 2 years of community college. I mean, you cooking. We cooking now. Chat, we are cooking with grease now. We got 71 people watching live here. This is actually the most viewers we've had on Sutton Reactions. So shout out to you guys if this is your first time watching. Again, this is Sutton Reactions with your boy Sutton Def from the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, where I react to any and everything that catches my attention, your attention. You can send it to me. Of course, you see down below. You can send topics to my social media on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel as well. Appreciate y'all. All right. Let's go ahead and move along here. Let's get into what we came to get into next. Let me see. What do I have? Do I have anything else in here? I think I want to do. All right. I got one more before we get a little messy. Guys. So just bear with me. All right. Let's take this down. So I was listening to part of a podcast earlier with Atlanta rapper T.I., aka Tip, legendary. And he was talking about artificial intelligence and how artificial intelligence, also known as AI, how that impacts the music industry. And this is wildly interesting to me, fascinating. By the way, might I say, before I turn this video on for you guys to watch, T.I. is a genius. He speaks very fluently. You can tell he's a very deep thinker. You know, so anybody who thinks he's just like a rapper turned actor and now apparently he's going to drop a comedy special next year, he's not that. This guy is an intellectual, and this is what he had to say about AI music. How do you guys feel about AI in general, and AI as it pertains to the music industry? Let's take a listen how T.I. feels.
What do you think about, like, because obviously AI music is pushing up. That's the big question and the big debate and the big thing here. What do you feel about the artist wise?
Man, I think it's dangerous, and initially I've been emphatically against it. You know what I'm saying? However, I will say, I talked to Dr. Dre, and he was telling me about, he producing for Bruce Springsteen, and he telling me that he's using some AI stuff. He sent me some stuff that he did on AI, and he was like, nah, it still work. You still have to
Still got to work
be
at it.
talented and program it to do what you want it to do. It's just an advantage, and it's almost like if everyone else has access to it and they're using it and you're not,
Then you're gonna be left out.
then you're gonna be left behind. And when I thought about it from that perspective.
By the way, really quick, I think that's dangerous. I think that's very dangerous saying that. Oh, because Prod is in here too. Prod, you make music. This is perfect. I want to know how you feel about this. But I think it's dangerous to say what T.I. just said. As much as I just, bigged them up talking about how he's so smart and things like that, he's saying like, it's a tool that if you're not using it, you're going to get left behind. The only problem that I have with that is that like, it's not like this is a tool that you're using to manufacture cars and you're in the car industry, right? You're like, or to make a product or something like that, where you're just trying to literally produce on a mass scale. And what that does is benefit everybody. This specifically with AI music, if you use it and you have that mindset of, hey, if I'm not using it, I'm falling behind. Eventually, all the real music will get washed out eventually, because they go on to talk about how it's still like AI is, of course, it's AI, but you still have to kind of work to program it to do what you want it to do. So it still takes human input, right? That's what they're going to argue. Let's keep listening.
That perspective, I kind of understood it. And then there's this other young lady, my wife, she brought her to me. It's like a real soulful singer, a black girl.
Zane Monet?
I think so.
The girl that's making all the noise.
Yeah. My old lady, she brought it to me. Probably, man, top of the year. I was like, hey, man, here, look at this girl, this AI. We need to sign her. I said, how you sign, man? I ain't fucking with that. You know what I'm saying? And then she come back. Now look. Now would you look? I told you long time ago. But I found out by watching the interview of the true human being that it really is a girl that kind of,
looks like the girl.
Yeah, she's writing the songs. You know what I mean? And she trained it with her voice, but that ain't exactly how she look. Yeah. And probably ain't exactly how she sound. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's still her. She's writing the music. So I think that to me,
I mean, I was doing the whole thing I was doing here at your studio, right? That was always Suno.
See? Again, that's dangerous. Saying like, oh yeah, I mean the AI artist is dope, but the thing about it is like the human is still writing the music. The human is still inputting his voice to tell the AI and train the AI what to do and how to sound. But it's like, how long until they don't need the human anymore to do that is the point. There's so much music out there and information out there already. And the name of the game behind AI is automation, right? So eventually all of this stuff is going to be automated and you're not going to need humans at all. And that takes away from the art form itself. Let's keep listening.
Suno, that whole setup I was in here with for that time, right? And that was a whole thing where they set up the cameras to film us doing AI music. And even in that meeting, that's why I had like real people that played like Double A and all them come in and check it out. But in that meeting, Double A is a producer. You never met Double A? Oh, he's a bad boy. Okay. He was up here with us when we was doing that. But I had him come in and check it out and all them kind of mess with it. And then that's when you really saw the tool kick in, because you're like, oh, okay. Oh, okay, I see now. Because you still gotta do your thing. You still can tell the difference. And even when I get people that distribute records with us, the way I can tell it's AI is usually by the cover, because
that's true.
You haven't got cool enough yet. If you're a real artist, you're gonna get your cover to kind of match your music, right? Where when they give you AI covers, it's kind of here's the sunset, what it is, right? So I'm like, okay, and then if it's a rock record that's going crazy, I'm like, okay, that's probably AI, right? But I feel like it's gonna in the next, I can't even say in the next year because it's going so fast right now. Right. Like in the next few months, even the amount of, I mean, you got a #1 country record, got a #1 R&B record. Like,
I think it should be a different category.
It needs to be a category.
I think it should be a different category. Like, you know, what I'm
this I
saying?
agree.
Like, as you chart, I don't think AI records should chart with natural human being records. It should be an AI chart.
It should be.
You know what I mean? And I feel like it's kind of like a tool, you know what I'm saying? And a tool can be used to make things better, or it could be used as a destructive weapon if it falls into the wrong hands.
Message.
And is abused. So, you know,
only problem you're gonna have with the labels with it, like think of yourself as the label though, like when they're sitting there going, okay, we got this record now that's actually moving records and selling and streaming and generating us money, and we have no cost with it.
I mean, man, then do you know what that does? That takes away the opportunity for a true human being to actually live out their dreams.
Well, it does.
Bingo. But this is my point, T.I. This is exactly where we're going. So as much as you guys are talking about, oh, how useful it is in the music industry, that's because you guys have had to sit down and do this stuff with your bare hands and thoughts for so many years. So being able to just click a button and all of it just pop out for you, on the surface, it's like, oh, shit, where has this been the last 30 years that I've been making music? But again, it's a very, very slippery slope, because at some point, you're not going to need real artists at all. You're gonna lose all of that pure pain, expression, and emotion that comes with singing and songwriting, because everything is just going to be being pulled from the archives and then fed through AI. Like lyrics pulled through the archives from years of music being produced and then ran through an AI machine and then spit out with an AI generated voice that mixes the voice of Michael Jackson and Aretha Franklin and Luther Vandross, or take it, to today, Janelle Monáe, or who are some other ones, Ari Lennox, all the good singers, Adele, and put all those voices together to make the perfect voice. That's dangerous. Eventually, you're not going to need real artists anymore. You're not going to need it.
Because if you can deal with products rather than people, products don't talk back.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's going to take away from a true human being's opportunity. So,
Well, back to what you were saying 1 second on this is that, like, for instance, right, I had a girl, a person would take pictures of my clothing company T-shirts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she come back and said, okay, that's going to be, $75 a shirt or whatever. All right, cool, whatever. Well, when I get them back, all 13, 15 shirts are wrong. I'm like, damn, these are wrong. The color's off. What's this color coming up? What's this thing? Send them back again. Send them back again, something else off. So, all right, well, that actually forced me to be like, why am I even doing that? Let me go to the AI generator in Kirk or whatever, and let me just generate my own shirt with my own character on it, and boom, call it a day.
Yeah.
Boom, did that, came out perfect, cool. Now, the problem is that's what she should have did.
What, you talking about
the editor I hired?
Yes.
It's easy to say that now. You know what I mean? Like, you can say, oh yeah, the human should be utilizing the AI to provide services. Easy to say that now. But eventually, all of it's going to be automated to the point where you don't even have to talk to a real person in order to produce the product that you want to produce, that you want to sell. And then subsequently, that product that you want to sell is going to get automated itself. So everybody's job is going to get took. Everybody's going to lose money. I think I saw Shelly, again, one of our members, say in the chat, she said that she works in the healthcare industry, and it's already popping up everywhere. Speaking of healthcare industry, just really quick before we get back to this video, I remember when I was maybe like 5 years old. As you guys know, I'm 30 years old now. So this was the year 2000. And my grandma took me to a hospital. She had some sort of a appointment, doctor's appointment, something like that. And I remember seeing robots strolling through the hallways, like R2-D2 type robots. And I can't remember exactly what they were for at the time. Again, this was years ago. 25, almost 26 years ago. But for us to be like on that train back then, I can only imagine what it looks like in hospitals nowadays. I can only imagine. Shelly, I would love to hear more about your experience in that. Honestly, I would. All right, let's keep watching. Let's finish up this video. There's not too much more left.
She
wasn't using the tool.
Got it.
So then,
so she lost her job.
That's how she lost her job.
Yeah, she didn't.
And that's why I'm not going to go back to you again either, because now I can just do this and I have it right there instantly.
That's fair.
Done right, done better. But
That's
what you should have done is when I hired you, you should have did that and sent it to me, and I've been like, wow, this is amazing. Can I send you the rest?
Right.
Because if I don't even have to go through the AI, I don't need to. You should be doing that as the creator.
That is true. It will be someone's opportunity to utilize AI and make you so impressed because you thought they did it You know what I'm saying? But if they don't do it and you have to stumble onto it just out of their failure, then I guess the inevitable is bound to happen.
That's how, that's where the job threat come in at.
I think AI should be kind of used for occupations where there is zero margin for error, like
100%.
heart surgeons,
100%,
pilots,
100%.
You know what I'm saying? I think.
Yeah, so I agree with what T.I. is saying here. Maybe we should only use AI for occupations where, like he said, there's literally no margin for error. So like a heart surgeon or a pilot. I agree with that to an extent, because even those systems and situations and jobs are very nuanced, right? And you can train AI to be more nuanced, but nothing is more nuanced than the human brain. In responding to situations in real time is a very, very important function of our brains. AI, I think, is just going to be literally spitting out data to you based off of things that have happened before, and not really taking account for everything that may be going on in the actual real life situation, again, in real time. So I'm fine with using AI. I know many pilots nowadays, autopilot is basically AI, right? On airplanes. But they still have guys in the cockpit and women in the cockpit who can fly that plane if need be. One of those things. And when it comes to like heart surgery, I don't know if I want AI doing my heart surgery. I just don't. I'd rather have a human being who cares and who knows what the stakes are. Again, that word that came up earlier, stakes. The stakes are very high in situations like that. I'd rather have a human being who knows what the stakes are in this operation, and a human being who will ultimately be held in a system, who will ultimately be held accountable if anything were to go wrong to me. AI is not the end all be all, guys. It's really not. It's really not. I think my guy Prod had a question in the chat. Again, Prod, one of our members. Shout out to you, Prod. Says, if you needed surgery, would you see, this is what I'm saying. Would you want AI to do your surgery or a doctor? Would you want genuine art or AI driven art? This is what I'm saying. It's exactly what I'm saying. I want an actual doctor. I want somebody who has a brain, a heart, a conscience. I want somebody who has all those things operating on me. I do. It's a good question, though, Void. Very good question. My guy Andre in the house. What's up, Andre? Says, what's up, Sutton? This is my first time being able to make a live in here. Appreciate you for coming through, man. Appreciate that. Longtime watcher of the Purple Rain podcast. All right. I think we just about finished this video up.
That, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you have zero margin for error.
It's a 6-minute video, but
no
I loved every second
room for no truck drivers. You know what I'm saying? Where motherfuckers need to drive without having to rest, without having, you know what I mean? I think those are the things. But the people who are existing in those areas of employment right now should be the ones programming them. You know what I mean? So I think the job should go from the human actually having to do it themselves to the human kind of programming the tool that won't make a mistake.
That's how you use it.
See, the problem is machines make mistakes. Machines make mistakes all the time. There are countless movies, video games, other mediums of media as well that have warned us about this very thing. And again, I just think we're on a slippery slope when it comes to AI. I'll tell you one thing. If we don't start making kids go to the military after high school and this AI stuff really starts to take off, I mean, in 30 years, I don't know where we would be. No idea. No earthly idea. Honestly. Let me see what else y'all are saying here. The Terminator, iRobot, etc. Agreed. Machines can be hacked and they can also crash. That's for sure. People make mistakes. You're right. But I'd rather have a person make a mistake than an extension of a person, a fake extension of a person make a mistake. If that makes sense to Bull. Because if people make mistakes, what do you think the machines that people made are going to do? They're going to fuck up even worse. Just being honest with you. Okay. So that was that. Again, I know that was a pretty lengthy video, but I loved every second of it. Very insightful. Again, shout out to T.I. I'm not exactly sure who the other gentleman was, but they smoked that. Okay. I think it's time to get messy. Time to get a little bit messy, guys. Okay. I got a couple things I want to bring up. Came to my attention. This first thing is actually pertaining to Cardi B and how she's been under fire recently by her fan base, basically for perpetuating the stereotype of meeting less than desirable men and starting families with them. And you guys know the man I'm talking about. He's in the news today, and we're going to cover that too in a second. It's Stefon Diggs. Now, the original story was that Stefon Diggs did not spend Christmas with Cardi B and the kid that him and Cardi B just made. Instead, he spent Christmas with his other baby mamas and their kids. And Cardi B faced a lot of backlash about this when this knowledge became public. A lot of backlash online. And this was her response.
Y'all need to calm down. Is y'all cool? Y'all been dragging me for 3 or 4 days. I can't change. I can't go back in time. You know what I'm saying? I already had a baby. Y'all want me to put my baby back in my... Huh? I don't know. What y'all want me to do? Y'all want me to leave my man and fuck yours? You want me to leave my man and just go and fuck yours? I don't know. What y'all want me to do? Don't be dragging me. It's enough. All right? It's enough. Leave me alone, though. Y'all scare me sometimes.
That is Cardi B saying that, hey, look, I already had the baby. Stop cooking me on Twitter and Instagram. Baby's already here. I can't put him back up. My you know what? So don't cry over spilled milk. But it's like, the problem that people have with it is like, okay, Cardi, but you keep spilling the milk. And while a lot of people do that, spill the milk, and do some of the same things that Cardi does, just of course not on her level, status-wise, financially, all that good stuff. But what the problem is with somebody like Cardi B doing it, who so many people I feel like look up to, so many little girls look up to, it kind of lets them know, puts it in their brain, and this is just my opinion, that like that is what's normal. Celebrities set the culture through their influence. You know, so to get up on Instagram Live, you know, after you just divorced a man for cheating on you, and you get with another man who's cheating on you, and now apparently getting into domestic violence cases, it just, again, it normalizes the whole thing. It normalizes the entire situation. And I hate it. I hate it for little kids around the world, specifically little black girls around the world, where this sort of lifestyle is glorified and, again, normalized. Now, let's talk about one Stefon Diggs, because like I said, he made the news this morning, and it really just kind of furthered what I already confirmed to be true. Let me go ahead and pull this up on screen for you guys, just in case you guys didn't see. Just in case you didn't see. Let's pull it up. Here we go. Cardi, we'll get rid of you. Put Diggs on the screen. New baby daddy. This report came from our good friend Ari Myrov. Says a report came out this morning that Patriots wide receiver Stefon Diggs is facing strangulation and assault charges stemming from a December 2nd incident. Excuse me, guys. You guys know I'm a little under the weather. And the team just put out this statement. The Patriots are aware of the accusations that have been made regarding Stefon Diggs. Stefon has informed the organization that he categorically denies the allegations. Let's stop right there. When I hear them say that Stefon Diggs, quote unquote, categorically denied these allegations, that means he used some sort of technicality to say that, hey, I didn't do exactly what I'm being accused of doing, but I did do something. I did do something. I'm not all the way clean and squeaky. That's what it tells me. That's what that tells me. But let's keep reading. Let me see. We will continue to gather information. Oh, wait, by the way, the Patriots said that they support Stefon and said they'll continue to gather information and will cooperate fully with the appropriate authorities in the NFL as necessary. Out of respect for all parties involved, and given that this is an ongoing legal matter, we will have no further comment at this time. So again, the headline again says, Stefon Diggs is facing strangulation and assault charges. Strangulation and assault charges. That's a lot to take in. Whole lot to take in. Whole lot to take in. Let me see what you guys are saying here in the chat. Yeah, we're getting messy. We're getting messy. Jokes aside, big yikes. Big yikes. Tor says the Ravens supported Tucker and Ray Rice. LOL. Yeah, I think that's honestly just a formality. You know, in the world of innocent until proven guilty, it's best to kind of, I guess you could say, just stand with your guy or your employee or whatever until further news comes out, and then, you know, after that you cut him or do whatever. Disciplinary action. '86 Ghost says she went from an Atlanta nigga to a DC nigga. Bad to bad or bad to worse. I didn't know Stefon Diggs was from DC. I thought he was from Baltimore. I thought Stefon Diggs was actually from Baltimore. I think he is. I could be wrong, but I think he's from Baltimore. But yeah, it just kind of says, again, it kind of disseminates this idea, this message to younger people that like toxic love and broken homes are normal. And that's the goal, right? As long as you can be lit and, you know, you can flex on Instagram a few times and post a couple of vacation trips and maybe have a baby or post a ring if you do get married or whatever, it kind of absolves the whole toxic side of the relationship. Who cares about that side? It's all about how we present ourselves to the world. Are we lit? Are we popping? Do we have status? That's what matters nowadays. And it's sad. It's really sad. I hate it. Andre says maybe she's okay with this. Probably don't want nothing super serious anyway. My only issue with that is, I mean, if that were the case, you could have just stuck with Offset. You could have stuck with Offset, you know? Let me see. Prod says Nikki isn't helping that case either, for real. Yeah. Nikki, she's we talked about her, I think, last week. She's a mess too. Another really bad example right now. L celebrities for sure. As Modia says, the problem with Cardi, she's sloppy, but she made it. It makes that same sloppy behavior allowable to the younger female generation. That's true too. That's true too. It goes to show, like, hey, like, again, I'm rich, I'm famous, everybody loves me, knows me. You know, I don't have to worry about anything. I'm just in these toxic relationships. And Cardi advertises it like it's fun, almost. Like it's fun. And that's the sad part. That's the really sad part. I hate it. I hate it. Can't stand it. Says Nahi from D.C., right outside D.C. near Montgomery County. I didn't know that. And then King Lee says from Baltimore. Diggs is from Gaithersburg, Maryland. You guys are all over the place. All over the place. Motherfuckers will be bleeding out and go live instead of calling EMS. This is what I'm talking about. It's all about the drama. It's all about the drama. I hate what this, again, I hate what this communicates to our youth. You guys remember how I mentioned earlier on the show, everything that our youth is seeing now is through social media, brain rot. And this is no different. This is no different at all. And the impressionable minds of kids who, let's say, smartphone age. So I don't know when you guys got smartphones, but I would say probably like, 13 to early 20s. Because once you get into mid 20s, 30s and stuff like that, your prefrontal frontal cortex is developed, and you can kind of compartmentalize this type of behavior and recognize, right, that like, okay, that's some bullshit. I may like her I may enjoy her music, whatever, but like she be on some bullshit. To a 15-year-old who just got their first iPhone, an Instagram account, and her older sisters or whoever she looks up to loves Cardi B, is going to look at situations like this and be like, oh, okay. So if I just grow up and, I just marry a rapper or a ball player, it doesn't really matter if he beats the shit out of me. It doesn't really matter if he cheats on me. It doesn't really matter if he gives me a baby and then just leaves me high and dry. I'm going to be lit. I'm going to be financially secure, all that stuff. Because the thing is, most women aren't going to end up where Cardi B is at financially. Most people overall, period, are not going to end up where Cardi B is financially. And this doesn't just go for women and young girls. This goes for young boys and men too. Speaking of young boys, you got guys like NBA Youngboy out here, quite literally, who literally has spawned and birthed many like hood terrorists, should I say. It's the same garbage message that I just, I would love eventually to see kind of take a turn for the better, and we see more positive stuff. We have more positive role models to look up to, things like that. You guys know what I mean? It's again, like Shelly says in the chat, it's glorifying toxicity. Glorifying toxicity. Can't stand it. And Stefon Diggs, I don't know how this is going to impact, the Patriots playoffs. Let's talk about that, right? Because as of lately, Stefon Diggs has been Drake May's go-to guy. Stefon Diggs just had a phenomenal game against the Ravens, of course. I think he had like 139 yards receiving or something like that, something crazy. And then this past week, he has another really good game, has one of the catches of the year. So if more news comes out about this and the Patriots sit him down, which I'm sure that they do not want to do. I'm sure. I think they said January 2nd was when, things will start to get put into motion for this, and maybe Diggs won't be able to participate in football activities. Now, again, that's before the Super Bowl. I think they said that's a week before, or I don't know, did they say January 2nd? Because that's actually in a couple of days. I could be wrong about that. December 2nd. Let me look up some more of this Stefon Diggs incident. Stefon Diggs. See if I can find another report here, because I saw something earlier, guys. Oh, and then Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs got released today. I forgot about that. Stefon facing charges, and his brother got released. It's not a good day for the Diggs. Not a good day for the Diggs. Let's see. News. Okay, so there's more information here. The incident allegedly happened on December 2nd when the chef confronted Diggs at his Schoolmaster Lane residence. She reported redness on her chest and shared text screenshots with police, who couldn't reach Diggs despite multiple attempts. Diggs' attorney calls the claims unsubstantiated and tied to money issues, while the 13-3 Patriots affirm their support for the receiver leading them with 82 catches and 970 yards. The NFL is monitoring, as league conduct rules could bring discipline amid playoff prep. So the NFL might step in. The big dogs, NFL might step in and say, hey, look, you got to sit down. You got to sit down until all the air is cleared on this. And that would devastate the Patriots. It would devastate the Patriots. Devastate them. Where was the thing I saw about something when he was going to be arraigned? Maybe it wasn't true. Maybe they deleted it because it wasn't true. Not sure. But this could have playoff implications written all over it. Again, T's and P's, thoughts and prayers to all parties involved. Thoughts and prayers to all parties involved. However, this definitely has playoff implications written all over it. It does. It does for me. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Enough about Stefon Diggs. Enough about Cardi B. Andre says, I'm a little old, but I can't bump Youngboy. All his music sounds the same. Yeah, I don't bump it either, bro. I don't bump it either. I had a little stint where I liked a couple Youngboy songs, but it was just a phase. It was like a 3-month phase that I was into it. Mike says, click on the article. Let me see if I click on the article. Let's show me something better here. Let's bring you guys on over. It's the Boston News. See if I can find this in here really quick before we get out of here. Before we move on. We're not done yet. We staying messy. Let me see. Oh, here we go. The veteran wide receiver is currently scheduled to be arraigned on Friday, January 23rd, just 2 days before the AFC Championship game is scheduled to be played. So again, this could have some playoff implications. Strangulation and assault charges is crazy, though. And, I've heard a lot of allegations levied against, what's his name, Stefon Diggs, because some people are trying to say that he is gay, which there's no problem with, of course. And he's never come out publicly and said that, but I don't know. I've always found something a little bit feminine about having the wherewithal in the mindset to put your hands on another woman as if you guys are physically equal or would be physically equal in a fight. I've always found that to be a little bit feminine. Like, you must think that you're on her level, if that makes sense. Physically, right? We're all equals here. But physically, most women don't stand a chance in a fight against a man. So that, like, openly hit a woman, I just don't think it's ever that serious. And I think it speaks to a shade of femininity. I do. And I know he also sleeps around a lot, which is not another good sign. I mean, like, I just don't. And this is my personal opinions. I don't think the most masculine guys just mindlessly sleep around with a bunch of women. I don't. Maybe crazy to say, but that it is what it is. Toxic masculinity culture. Nobody should ever be hitting anybody, to be honest. Absolutely right about that. Didn't he record? They record him passing out pink cocaine this offseason. They did. Yep, he was on the boat with those girls. He was passing some shit out. We all forgot about that. Let me see. With the way that the current culture is, you never know what kind of person you're dealing with. That's true. Here's my thing, Asmodeus. Here's my thing. We got to be better judges of character. We have to start peeping out red flags. See, I think the problem with a lot of people who say that, like, oh, this person changed up on me, they were totally different, they're not the person that I thought they were. No, they probably showed some signs that they were the person that they ended up being ultimately. You just ignored those signs. I like to put it like this. Don't treat the red flags like Six Flags. Okay? It's not a fun time. It's not. So, with that being said, guys, I mean, just again, always be on your 10, be on your toes, like peep things out, notice things, notice body language, notice how people react, their mannerisms with certain things, how they treat other people, right? A lot of times that'll tell you right there. Because if somebody is treating you with the utmost love and respect and adoration and things like that, but then they turn around and treat their family like shit, or they treat retail workers like shit, servers like shit, anybody else like shit, should tell you, be foreshadowing that they're probably going to treat you like shit at some point. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, it's true. Got to let this stuff play out. It is confirmed that he actually, or is it confirmed he actually hit the woman, or did she press charges? I don't know. But the fact that he said he categorically denies what she's alleging here, again, to me, doesn't have to do you guys, but to me, tells me that, hey, I might not have done X, Y, and Z, but it doesn't mean I didn't do anything. Right? I could have did ABC. I just didn't do what she said. Again, it's all nasty. Again, thoughts and prayers, T's and P's to everybody involved. T's and P's. T's and P's. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Last video. So, our guy, former NFL superstar, Cam Newton. As you guys know, he has his multiple shows and podcasts nowadays, and he's actually doing a really good job. He's actually very successful with it, and I wish him nothing but the best in all of his endeavors. But sometimes he can get a little bit messy, too, on his shows, right? And I guess the other day he had Natalie Nunn on the show. And their interaction is going wildly viral right now. And I want to go ahead and share with you guys probably the highlight from that interaction. Let's take a listen.
Why should a man take a baddie serious?
Because I pay the bills. Because I'm a boss. So how much more serious does it need to get?
You're talking about you.
I'm just saying baddies. Baddies pay the bills. All my baddies get money. Every last one of them are rich. I know what I pay these girls. They make more money than anybody in America on a 9-to-5, on a, you got a good job. My bitches is paid. Okay. So at the end of the day, you said, why should anyone take a baddie serious? Because we pay the fucking bills.
Why should a man?
Because we pay the bills.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What if you're dealing with a man?
It doesn't matter. Well, first of all, I deal with Jacob, and but my baddies, I got a couple of baddies that
I'm not speaking in.
No, wait.
Your
So my baddie Anna is dating an MLB player.
Okay.
They get money. He makes more money than her for sure. She don't give a fuck. They don't care. Yeah. Baddies don't care.
But what I'm referring to is it's not necessarily about money all the time. And I think
no, you said that.
By the way, let me just say really quick. I think where she's totally off base right here. I think where she's totally off base here is like assuming that, because Cam Newton's asking her, like, why would a man take a quote unquote baddie serious? And she's just automatically assuming like money. And she's going to get into why she thinks status is another big part of it as well. But throwing money in the face of a man doesn't do anything. It doesn't. Okay. If anything, not to say that it like offends or anything like that, because it doesn't, but like, it's just like, okay. It's just not much of a feminine quality to brag like that hard about how much money you make above all other things that women can offer. You know, it's just like, to men, it's like, okay, but what else do you bring to the table? Truly, what else do you bring to the table? And that's what she also goes on to talk about. So let's hear it.
Oh, you said that.
No.
You said, what is it that makes a male?
No, I will say it again.
Okay, say it again.
Why should a man take a baddie serious?
I just told you. When they make more money and they're the boss.
That's cool.
She's the boss. And
But-
so he makes, what I was trying to refer to is he makes more money, right?
Right.
But she's the boss.
Okay, take money out of it.
No, it was money out of it. He definitely makes more money than her. She's still running that shit.
Okay, but
Okay.
take financial.
Which is another red flag, again, don't treat the red flags like Six Flags. That's the kind of common theme. That's the lesson coming out of this episode. Don't treat the red flags like Six Flags. They are not fun. Okay? Take people for what they are, what they tell you, how they act, what they show you. Okay? So, I mean, and again, she's saying here, like, oh, she's the boss. Like, oh, her husband or her dude makes more money, but she runs that shit. It's like, not really the most attractive quality, right? I thought it was supposed to be a partnership. You know, but again, this is our culture. This is our culture right now.
Financials out of it.
Okay, so
what are the qualities that a baddie may bring to the table?
She's definitely more popular than him. I don't even know who the fuck he is. So if he wants, respectfully, I don't watch Major League Baseball, but if he wants to be like with a young, successful baddie that is an it girl, that's what she's bringing to the table, because she's...
Men don't want it girls. Oh,
he's definitely her follower, everything. She's more popping. So I don't know, sometimes, like, I'm a little bit older. I don't really care about social media and followers and all that, but the younger people do. You know that. So maybe she brings more, like, to the table, like, for social media and, like, popularity or
but
whatever.
You're not answering my question.
No, you just...
Holy Lord. She's saying maybe she brings more popularity and social media attention. And that's why he should take her seriously. Even if he already makes more money than her, is successful himself. And it's just like, why? No, it's like the exact opposite. She's saying all the exact opposite things of, like, why a man should take a baddie seriously. This is funny to me. It's really jokes. It's really
yes.
jokes.
No, I'm gonna guide you.
I don't know. Don't guide me. Oh my God.
I'm trying. I'm trying to get to an answer.
Right. I don't know. Baddies bring a lot to the table.
Can you name something?
Great mothers.
Okay, talk about it.
I put $1 million swimming pool in my backyard because my daughter said she wants to swim.
She started cooking with good mothers. But she walked right in that kitchen and walked right back out. Because Cam is trying to get you to say any other reason other than the money you have and the amount of followers you have. What makes you a good person? What makes you attractive? What makes you desirable? And she's like, oh, good moms, you know? Good moms. We're good moms. I bought my kid, I spent money, $1 million on a swimming or a trampoline or swimming pool, whatever she said, a swimming pool. I spent $1 million on a swimming pool. That's what makes me a good mom. You know, not teaching good values to your kid, you know, not putting them in that sport or that program or activity that they wanted, not supporting them through X, Y, and Z. And this may be all just a given to her. I don't know this woman personally. But the fact that these are the things she decides to say are why she is so desirable. You bought your kid in $1 million swimming pool. You have 1 million followers on Instagram. And you and all your baddie friends make money. It's like, bravo, cool. But, like, are you somebody who I can really build with and connect with? Have a long-term relationship with? I just don't see that.
Swim.
Okay.
So I put a pool. It cost me $909. It was like $1 million. Okay. I put him. Wait.
So that was that, guys. That was Natalie Nunn on the Cam Newton podcast talking about, you know, why men should take quote unquote baddies seriously. And again, like we talked about with the Cardi B thing, and some other topics that we've had on here, I want better for my people. I want better for my people, man. I want us to get out of this sort of idea that, or this culture that kind of perpetuates and glorifies, again, toxicity, and glorifies greed, right? Glorifies all the things, a lot of the things in sin, a lot of the things in literally the Bible, if you believe in that, right? That they say you're not supposed to fall into. I just, how did we get here? That's another conversation for another day, but how did we get here? Somebody walk me through it, because I really don't know. Voice says swimming pools cost $1 million. What she get back there? I don't know. It must have been a huge swimming pool. I mean, a swimming pool definitely cost $1 million. It definitely can cost $1 million. You know, there's all sorts of construction and whatnot, and then getting the water in there, and you know, designing it, and all. It's a full job. It's a full job. Now, it would probably have to be a pretty big swimming pool, I would imagine, for it to come all the way up to $1 million. But yeah, yeah, I did think that that was a little excessive as well. Definitely a little excessive. As Modia says, quote, I don't cook, I don't clean, but I got a ring, Cardi B. Oh Lord. Voice says she was cooking, then she burnt the bacon. Started cooking and burnt the food. And the only reason I said she started cooking is because she said being a good mom, which is, yeah, that is a quality why a man should take you seriously. If you're a good parent, that bodes well for us and our family. You know, but then she turned right around and said, the way that I'm a good parent, Exhibit A, bought $1 million swimming pool for my kid. That was Exhibit A, right? I could see, like, if she said that, like, maybe, you know, after a couple other things, right? But that was the first thing that came to mind. The first thing. Another super chat donation. This one's coming from Asmodeus. Appreciate you. Says, before you think it's only black culture, it's not. This is the U.S. as a whole nowadays. Bobby experienced it with white culture, and I did with Asian culture. So this really speaks to a multicultural epidemic that's going on right here. That is interesting, because I can only really speak for the black community, but I would love to hear that perspective, Asmodeus. Again, another reason why I got to start doing some call-ins on the show, because I want you to elaborate on that. Easy G, and thank you so much again for dropping the 5-piece super chat donation here, making it rain here on the Purple Rain podcast, and also Sutton Reactions. Appreciate that. Let me see. Easy G says, I don't think she understood the question, to be honest. I think she understood it wholeheartedly. I think what she was trying to do was purposely troll Cam Newton. And her response to that whole entire interview kind of alludes to that. Let's take a look.
Why should a man take a baddie serious?
Well, nope, not that one. Here we go. Sorry, guys. This one.
Now you're questioning my authority with the sports? Let me play dumb a little bit, but then not play dumb and act like I don't know what I'm talking about with the sports a little bit. So did you fumble the ball, Cam, or did you pass the ball off to him? I'm kind of playing stupid. Like, stop. Google Natalie Nunn, soccer days, USC. Google Ronald Nunn, the #1 corner that played at USC, back-to-back champion, rings. Didn't get there and lose. Got there and performed. Got there and won.
Okay.
Winner, chicken dinner. Won championship games. Defense really wins the games anyways. So you lost, Cam, because that defense of whoever you played against really was the champions.
Denver Broncos.
Defense wins the games, baby. I'm far from a dummy, Playboy. I'm sitting here like, damn, this man really degrades women, looks down on women, and preys on women. Preys on women. Heavy on praise on women that he thinks that he can manipulate, be sarcastic to, and play in their face. I'm not the one. I'm far from the one.
I'm not going to lie. No, I'm not going to lie. She is not lying when she says that Cam Newton does have a little bit of a history of being a little bit sarcastic, when talking to women, being a little bit, kind of alluding to some of his lifestyle choices that would suggest he manipulates women. You guys remember when he told Dr. Cheyenne Bryant all those months ago, he was saying, like, or was it him or Nick Cannon? I can't quite remember. I don't want to put it in Cam Newton's, he said that if it was Nick Cannon. But I think it was Cam Newton who said it, where he was like, I just want to have more babies, essentially. Like, I don't want to have relations with the mothers. I just want to have these babies. I can afford to take care of them, so that's what I want to do. I think that that's trash. I think that that's creating broken homes, which we do not need any more of those. So if her whole kind of MO for going on the podcast, her whole purpose for going on that podcast and talking to Cam Newton was to just kind of throw shit in his face and really not take him serious, I think she accomplished that.
From the one, I'm far from the two. What, you think I'm dumb? I didn't want to answer his dumbass questions. How about that? And I didn't. And I interviewed him and he answered mine. My favorite answer was, because I was scared to jump on the ball. God, Natalie, you're fucking good. Maybe I should start a podcast. Oh, no, you don't have enough time for that. You have too many shows right now. Too many shows, too many big shows. Gotta stay focused. But someone just said, you didn't answer any of the questions. I didn't have to answer the questions. He answered mine, though.
Yeah, so you see, she got what she wanted. She wanted to go on that podcast, kind of publicly embarrass Cam Newton, not really take him serious. The line of questioning. Well, I did not watch the full podcast myself. I only saw clips on Twitter. I'm sure there were other questions that led up to the why should a man take a baddie seriously? Like, Cam Newton likes to talk about that sort of stuff, right? And he likes to talk about that sort of stuff in a way where, kind of like how I was just talking, like, we don't really agree with that, like, sort of extreme, kind of belief system, right? We don't really agree with that. But she wanted to get up there and really lean into it and not talk like, oh, well, we don't necessarily mean that when we, a lot of us are actually good at cooking and doing this and that. Like, he wanted her to go that direction. When in fact, she leaned into the baddie culture saying like, oh, yeah, like, point blank period, we making money. All my bitches is bosses. They make more money than the average American, whatever, or than most Americans, or whatever she said. We got all these followers on Instagram. She has to know that all the stuff that she's saying is superficial, right? And I don't know this woman. I don't follow her at all. This is actually probably one of the first times I've heard her speak. But I think she knew what she was doing. I think she knew exactly what she was doing. And it worked. Because apparently Cam was pissed off. About it. King Lee says Cam do be on some other shit. Yeah. Don't care about nothing but just going through the motions. What coach say? It says she was cooking spam. She wasn't cooking nothing but some spam, some Vienna sausages. You know what I'm saying? That's funny. Shout out to Coach. But yeah, guys, I can only take so much of the mess. You guys know me. I can only take so much of the mess. I'm going to get out of here with that being said. Again, thank you guys so much for coming through to this episode of Sutton Reactions, episode 11. I believe this is probably my favorite episode yet. We've got the most people live watching in here. We've had up to 90 people watching live. Shout out to you guys. Again, the most people who have ever watched the show live. Make sure you like this video. Subscribe to the channel as well. If you're watching on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to that. I will be live on that here shortly to do Quiet Storm. But if you're watching on the Sutton Reactions YouTube channel, big salute to you, because guess what? This show, Sutton Reactions, will exclusively be streamed on the Sutton Reactions official YouTube channel. You can find that by clicking on the link that's going to be in the description after this video. I haven't put it in there yet. But if you just want to go ahead and type it up, look it up, just look up Sutton Reactions on YouTube and go ahead and drop me a follow. Again, appreciate each and every one of y'all for coming through. We will be back on tomorrow's episode. Again, if you want to send me any topics, any videos, anything like that, send it to me at Sutton Def on Twitter or Instagram. DMs are open on both. And with that being said, love you guys. And I'll see y'all, honestly, in a little bit. Peace.